this is my first time here, and it's so lovely. So thank you so much to Susan and Jennifer and to Lily, my workshop intern, and to my workshop participants, and to the poets I got to listen to tonight. I really just wanted to kind of cuddle in and listen, and then I remembered I still had to work. So I'll read some poems from Good Bones, and then I'll just read a few from my next poetry manuscript in progress. And then we'll call it a night. How's that? Okay. So I'm going to start at the beginning, and I'll read First Fall. I'm your guide here. In the evening, dark, morning streets, I point and name. Look, the sycamores, their mottled paint-by-number bark. Look, the leaves rusting and crisping at the edges. I walk through Schiller Park with you on my chest. Stars smolder well into daylight. Look, the pond, the ducks, the dogs paddling after their prized sticks. Fall is when the only things you know, because I've named them, begin to end. Soon I'll have another season to offer you, frost soft on the window, and a porthole side there, ice sleeving the bare gray branches. The first time you see something die, you won't know it might come back. I'm desperate for you to love the world because I brought you here. Thank you. There's a series of poems in this book that I call Nonets, which just means sort of not quite a sonnet. I sort of jokingly refer to them as lazy sonnets, which means they're 14-line free verse poems that sort of have a rhetorical turn in them where a sonnet might. They all were inspired by questions that my now 11-year-old daughter asked me in the car when she was 3 or 4. So we would get into the car to run errands, and she would use that time to interrogate me and ask me large metaphysical questions because she had me trapped in the car, I believe. So this poem is the first nonet in the book. It's called Sky, and the epigraph from Violet is, why is the sky so tall and over everything? Why indeed? What you draw as a blue stripe high above a green stripe, white interrupted. The real sky starts at the tip of each blade of grass and goes up, up, as far as you can see. Our house stops at the roof, at the glitter-black overlap of shingles where the sky presses down, bearing the weight of space, dark and sparkling on its back. Think of sky not as blue, not as over, but as the invisible surround, a soft suit you wear close to the skin. When you walk, the soles of your feet take turns on the ground, but the rest of you is in the sky, enveloped in sky. As you move through it, you make a tunnel in the precise size and shape of your body. Oh, thanks. All right. My reading method is I just dog ear a book, and then I flip through and see if I still want to read the thing when I get to the page. It's very precise. This poem has a title that runs right into the poem itself. At your age, I wore a darkness, several sizes too big. It hung on me like a mother's dress. Even now, as we speak, I am stitching a darkness you'll need to unravel. Unraveling another you'll need to restitch. What can I give you that you can keep? Once you asked, does the sky stop? It doesn't stop. It just stops being one thing and starts being another. Sometimes we hold hands and tip our heads way back so the blue fills our whole field of vision, so we feel like we're in it. We don't stop. We just stop being what we are and start being what? Where? What can I give you to carry there? These shadows of leaves, the lace in solace, this soft hand-me-down darkness? What can I give you that will be of use in your next life, the one you will live without me? Thank you. All right, see how I'm flipping through? I'm like, no. This is another Nonet, and the question that is the epigraph is maybe the best question my daughter ever asked me in the car. Age 4, this is just one question. How do leaves fall off the trees, and how did God build this car? You're just trying to go to the post office, you know? Just picture me in the mom-mobile just trying to go to the post office. And this is what comes from the car seat behind me. The poem is called Leaves. The tree stops needing the leaves, so it lets go, and people built this car. Someone must have told you what God made without telling you everything doesn't mean everything. There is light, and the light is good, but some is stoppered inside bulbs manufactured in Schaumburg. Heirloom light, the soft incandescence of last century. Even the sun will burn out, rattling with bits of broken filament, but not in your lifetime or your children's children's children's. And what of the dark? You can build it yourself with your own 2 hands. Do you remember covering your eyes to hide, believing you made yourself invisible? On second thought, the leaves must let go, or else the tree would keep them. All right, so I have a poem in here that is maybe one of the saddest poems I've ever written, so I'm totally going to inflict it on you because it sort of chronicles a time when my daughter was having a hard time going to sleep because she was worried about dying, which when you're 6, you shouldn't really be thinking about. But it also is sort of a self-mocking poem about how much I hate exercise. I'm getting better about that. The poem's called Let's Not Begin. Let's not begin the poem with and, though it begins that way in spirit, one in a long list of, let's not call them grievances. I'm trying to love the world, I am, but is it too much to ask for 2 parts bees, vibrating their cups of pollen, humming a perfect A note to 1 part sting? Worry and console, it's how I stay in shape. See, I'm sweating. Some nights my daughter cries, I don't want to be in the dirt. And this is what I call a workout. My heart's galloping hell and gone from the paddock. I don't want to be in the dirt because I'll miss you. And there's no stopping me. But let's not end with the heart as hoarse, fear-lathered, spooked, deaf. I'm trying, I am, for her. If I list everything I love about the world, and if the list is long and heavy enough, I can lift it over and over. Repetitions, they're called, reps, to keep my heart on, to keep the dirt off. Let's begin with bees and the hum and the honey singing on my tongue and the child sleeping at last. And. Thank you. I don't have this poem memorized. This is Good Bones. Life is short, though I keep this from my children. Life is short, and I've shortened mine in 1,000 delicious, ill-advised ways, 1,000 deliciously ill-advised ways I'll keep from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, and that's a conservative estimate, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there is a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broken, bagged, sunk in a lake, life is short, and the world is at least half terrible. And for every kind stranger, there is one who would break you, though I keep this from my children. I am trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking you through a real shithole chirps on about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful. Thank you. All right, I'll read one more from the book and then a few newbies. I can't write love poems, so I think I need some help. I just don't. I don't need to write love poems anymore, but when I could have written love poems, I could not write love poems. But there is one in this book called Love Poem, and it's really to the world and not to a person. Love poem. What can I give you? You have plenty of seas, 7 at last count, and another version of yourself beneath them, unseen, doppelganger caves and mountains, the tallest secret ranges not for climbing. Besides, I can't make you a sea, or fill each transparent wave with equally transparent fish. I can't assemble a forest or populate the trees with birds. You have all the cranes you could want, feathered or folded from paper. Look, I have these 2 babies, but you have more children than you can feed, more than you can keep alive. Every day you lose thousands, gain thousands. No wonder the numbers mean nothing. You need more than I or anyone can give. But fool that I am, I love you. I'm hot for you. Here, warm your hands by the fire. I made it with myself and a match. All right, some newbies, and then we'll call it a night. Okay. No, we won't call it no, we're staying forever. This is now a camp-in, like one of those Girl Scout camp-ins where no one gets to leave and they lock you in at night. Some new poems. This one's called The Hum. It's not a question without the mark. How do we live with trust in a world that will continue to betray us? Hear my voice, not lift at the end. How do we trust when we continue to be betrayed? For the first time, I doubt we'll find our way back. But how can we not see how the terminal mark allows a question to dress as statement and vice versa? Sometimes, if I am quiet and still, I can hear a small hum inside me, an appliance left running. Years ago, I thought it was coming from my bones. The hum kept me company, and I thought, thank God for bones, for the fidelity of bones. They'll be there until the end, and then some. Now what? How to continue? I've started calling the hum the soul. Today I have to hold my breath to hear it. What question does it keep not asking and not asking, never changing its pitch? How do I answer? Okay, so I have no musical ability at all, but I listen to music all the time. from the moment I wake up in the morning, everywhere I walk, when I'm cooking, sometimes when I sleep. It's rare for me not to be listening to music. So I wrote a poem sort of about music and sort of about a lot of other things. The poem is called Verse, Chorus, Bridge. Until we find the right chord, we can busy ourselves with the lyrics, rhyming not words, but the ideas folded and stacked inside them. Each word unzips its edges and expands to make space in copse for dusk, crepuscular, deer, room enough for a doe crossing, plum road, the rest hesitating at the shoulder, room for the little daylight left. We've spent so much already thinking there would be more. Each unzipped word, impossibly spacious, room enough in crepuscular for horizon, room for the sallow boundary hours, green gold, when light is making a decision. You can see its thinking happening in real time. When the right chord searches the air, we can slant rhyme what we know now with what we thought before. We must be coming to the chorus now. I have to say, I almost full on ripped off the last sentence of that poem from a line from a Pavement song that I really love. So hopefully Stephen Malkmus never reads that poem and thinks that's in Gold Sounds, because it is. I think maybe I'll just read one more. This poem's called This Sort of Thing Happens All the Time. Thank you so much. Oh, okay. I'll take it. You think you've memorized the calls of North American birds, particularly in the east, but one night you hear a call like a whistle someone is not blowing hard enough, the ball inside just rattling, rolling. You see a forested mountain, and dusk is suddenly thick with words, as if you could hover your cursor above the pastiche of greens and see each name pop up: juniper, citrine, celadon, hunter, fern. I'd say only in a dream, but doesn't this sort of thing happen all the time? One night you find yourself on a dark street in the suburbs with air that smells like cut grass, jungle, myrtle, viridian, spring, and laundry steam. You're standing too close to a lit house which could be yours. Is it yours? And through blue windows you watch the evening news. The anchor's mouth is moving, but outside you hear only crickets in the cold, dewy lawn. Crickets and that broken-sounding bird. Then one dog barking. Then two. Thank you.